All right, let's get going. Welcome to the City of Revere Conservation Commission meeting, Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. For those that would like to, let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Here.
Here.
Can you put up my screen? Blow this up. So here's the agenda for tonight. We have a continuation of a hearing for a notice of intent for Leach Park. We have an extension request from the DCR for their O&M plan for Revere Beach and Short Beach. We have another extension request for a home being built on 265 Rice Avenue. We'll be discussing a scope question on a project the DCR has at Sullivan Park. And we have a notice of intent for construction of a single-family home and land subject to coastal storm flowage on Neponset Street. I am going to move the two extensions to the end, so people don't have to that are here don't have to wait, because those two parties are not here in attendance. We don't need them to be on those. So first up, continuation of hearing for notice of intent, Leach Park, City of Revere, DEP file number 0610795, park improvements. Is there anyone speaking on behalf of the city?
Hi, Danielle Osterman, 281 Broadway.
So this is a continuation of a hearing from, I believe, January maybe. This is Leach Park. And originally they wanted to go in and do some maintenance on the fence, remove some shrubs, plant some more trees, and they are going to do handicap curbing cutouts with ramps. And they wanted, right now it has a crushed stone dirt path. They wanted to do asphalt. And the asphalt's what kind of triggered a notice of intent, which required a stormwater plan, which we have. I did send that all to you folks last week or earlier this week. Since then, the plan has changed. They're no longer doing asphalt. They're going to go back to the crushed stone path. Had that been the plan from the get-go, we could have done this through a request for determination of applicability, because it's just kind of replacing like kind, no impact to any of the resources. So that said, I have up here on the screen the plan. Right here, you're probably not going to be able to see this on the big screen, but here's where they're planning to do erosion control barriers. There's a drain right there in the park. And just while they're working, we want to keep as much stuff out of the drain because that goes pretty much directly to the ocean. But everything else is pretty straightforward. On the conditions, we probably wouldn't issue special conditions from the city. We'll just stick with the boilerplate DEP conditions. That would cover everything here. You have a question?
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Was it ever considered using hydraulic cement instead of the asphalt?
No, the only things that were up for consideration were asphalt or the stone dust.
And why was the asphalt considered an option at one point?
It was mostly due for like ADA compliance. It would be, while Stone Dust is ADA compliant, concerns were raised that asphalt would be better for wheelchairs and strollers. But upon internal conversations and speaking with neighbors, we decided to make the switch back to Stone Dust.
Are there any other questions?
I'm just curious, where is Leach Park?
It's at the corner of Broad Sound Ave and Leverett Ave.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You have anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it.
All right. Does anyone in the audience have anything they would like to address with this project? Either for it, against it, questions? All right, hearing none, if you guys agree, I think we have enough information to close the hearing. Have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, hearing's closed. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All right, then entertain a motion to approve this notice.
I'll make a
of
motion.
intent.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, okay. It'll probably be Monday or Tuesday. She'll have it at her desk, okay? All right, thank you, Danielle. Sorry it took so long. All right, next up, we're gonna go to the project scope question about a new pipe route for the splash feature at Sullivan Park. You can bring yours up. I don't know which drawing you're gonna be referencing. I can. Yeah, that's all I have. Yeah, you want that one?
Just do a brief intro. My name is Cass Crost. I'm a landscape architect with the Department of Conservation and Recreation and serve as the project manager for this project. We're here because while we're under construction, we were applying for a permit for some utilities, and we were advised that we could not make a connection to the sewer system, the sanitary sewer system. So with that, thank you. So with that, we are working to revise the a drainage system feature so that it goes up into Revere Boulevard, and Skylar will give you the details here as the consultant and designer.
All right, thank you. I'm Skylar Chick with Shadley Associates, the landscape architect. So the plan up here is what was approved by the Conservation Commission back in February of 2022. So the scope of the project has not changed. The overall design has not changed. As Cass mentioned, what we are looking to change is a utility connection, which came about through the trench permit process with the engineering department. So I'll flip to what was the approved utility plan. That's drawing C3. So I've highlighted on here the connection. So on this project, we have Diamond Creek, which is the resource area. We have bordering vegetated wetlands, which are flagged. There's a 100-foot buffer zone, and there's 200-foot riverfront area through which our original sanitary sewer connection from a water feature connected. The directive from the engineering department was to tie into stormwater instead. So we do have a stormwater design system on this park, which consists of 3 different bioretention areas, pipe connections and whatnot. But those are sized for stormwater, not specifically for a water feature. So we're proposing to tie into Revere Beach Boulevard, to the DCR's existing drainage system. So that's on this revised C3. Which is in the upper right corner over by Cass there. So rather than directing it through the riverfront area and through the 100-foot buffer zone, we're heading the other way, back out to the street. It's the DCR's existing drainage system, so we're not contributing any more water flow to the stormwater system that was designed for Sullivan Park. So that would consist, let's see, the water feature is right here. Adjacent to that will be a new manhole, and within that manhole will be a pump, because the elevation of the street is several feet higher than the elevation of the water feature. So will be a force main backup, then there will be a new drainage structure just on the park side of the existing sidewalk, and then from there, it will connect through the sidewalk to the existing catch basin that the DCR owns. So the change is really about removing piping for sanitary sewer within the riverfront area and redirecting the flow out of that zone to the east instead. And then relative to surface changes, the only surface change is replacing a portion of the existing concrete sidewalk just to get that pipe in. And that's this lower left image here. The existing concrete sidewalk, this is the catch basin that we would be tying into, and the park is just beyond that over here. I'm sorry, it's blocked a little bit. So we're really replacing in kind at that point. So what we're hoping is that this is not considered a substantial enough change for there to be a change to the order of conditions or a new notice of intent to be issued.
So the original plan had it going into the sewer system. It was open. So during a storm event, water would continue going into the sewer system. So we asked that they put in an automated stop valve, gate valve or something, which kind of complicated the whole system. This actually kind of uncomplicates everything and makes it a lot easier. It's overall less scope, I think. We would need an updated O&M manual
Okay.
for that we can just put in the files.
Sure.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. LaValle?
When you referred to street, you were talking about the Boulevard or Revere Street?
Boulevard.
Boulevard. And originally, the drainage was going to go into a sanitary, is that correct?
It was, just for the water feature, not the entire stormwater on the site, just the water feature. And the sewer line is on the west side of the site, so it's not in the street. It's along the resource area.
So now that water feature will be draining into the street drain?
Yes.
Is that correct? And you're going to have a pump to amplify the drainage?
Yes, because the water feature itself is lower than the elevation of the street, the boulevard, it has to be pumped back up towards the street to the catch basin.
I have a question. Is there any maintenance that's required of the pump over like a period of time that the city will be responsible for?
No maintenance required by the city. Because this is owned by the Department of Conservation and Recreation, they are responsible. And this has also been discussed with Tom Vollen, is the stormwater person who works for the DCR. So he's reviewed the original plans and he's reviewed this revised change and supports it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So the question before us is this a scope change? Is this small enough that can keep on going?
Seems to me this is actually a better change than
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah, I don't think it's the type of change that requires amending the order of conditions and going back through a public hearing, is what really the question is. But as a commission, we have to decide and vote on that, if we agreed to that question. So I guess.
Do you want me to make a motion to that extent?
Yeah,
That
you
we
got the
accept the
verbal-
new revised plan?
Yes.
Make a motion that we accept the revised plan with the
I'll
change in
second it.
drainage.
All right, Toby second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. So I'll send you an email for the records.
Excellent, thank you.
And then you will have to update the O&M plan, just to,
Yes,
because you're going to take something out, put something in.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is a notice of intent from the Ponset Street construction of a single-family home in land subject to coastal storm flowage, DEP file number 061-0802. So, you're ready for me to open this hearing? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this hearing. Put your name and address, and
Thorson Akerley, wetland scientist and registered sanitarian with Williams and Barrages, 189 North Main Street, Middleton, Massachusetts.
all right. So is that easier to see, or is mine easier to see? Can you put my screen up? Is that easier? Yours is colored, mine's not.
Yeah, there's not a lot to see, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Thank you all for coming out over the weekend and taking a look at the site. It's a relatively simple project. You know, we have a construction of a single-family home. Additionally, we have 2 off-street parking areas that are highlighted in gray here, adjacent to the dwelling. And then aside from that, the only other construction would be the stairs going up to the house, and then a deck and another stairway off the back of the dwelling. As you saw, the property is relatively unremarkable. It's almost entirely maintained lawn with a few shrubs sparsely spaced around the property. But as you all know, the property is entirely within land subject to coastal storm flowage. So that's why we're here tonight. I guess I should also mention there are obviously utility connections proposed along the front of the dwelling out onto Neponset Street. And because the property is located within land subject to coastal storm flowage, the foundation is proposed to be elevated significantly above the floodplain. So the first floor would be 2 feet above the base flood elevation there. At the site visit, we had a few discussion items. I know one being site plan review. The project is currently under review by the site plan committee, so that process is ongoing. Typically for a single family home, usually it's comments related to utilities, generally not with overall proposal of the house or driveway or really a deck or stairs. So it's possible the utility connections could change a little bit, but likely you're looking at close to or very close to the final product of at least the proposed development at the site. An additional concern by the commission was stormwater flow during typical rain events. And in discussion with the client and Peter Blaisdell, the project engineer, we're happy to incorporate pervious driveway, whether that's gravel or a pervious pavement into the design. Happy to include something for the rooftop to help infiltrate some of that stormwater into the ground to not affect the neighbors. As you can see, it's a really small lot. It's a very densely developed neighborhood. Although they probably do have, you know, some tough storms out there, you know, we don't want to contribute to that. We did also have DEP comments. One being that they wanted the design of the foundation to show the holes and do a review of that. It's pretty typical, I think, on the last few projects we've done in Revere, that's generally been conditioned. The reason we do that is because the people who are putting the project forward really haven't gone far enough to say, let's finalize our architectural plans. You know, they're still under review by the site plan committee, and the building code requires them to have pretty significant flood openings in that foundation. You know, to allow for the movement and constant unrestricted flow of floodwaters during storm events or a flooding event. So I understand the commission's concern regarding that, but we would ask that that be conditioned just because of the cost and delays of having a full architectural set of plans done. Additionally, DEP did mention commenting or at least having the discussion about reflection and refraction of waves off the foundation, right? You don't want waves to be hitting the foundation and then hitting neighbor's house or foundation. And we did look at that and Mr. Chairman, I think we did CC you on an email today to Elizabeth Sabugian from DEP. Frankly, it's the first time we've seen that comment on a project this far inland. We're about 900 feet from the retaining wall along River Beach Boulevard. So we do think it would be very unlikely that you'd have any wave action here that would cause the kind of reflection and refraction off of the foundation that would significantly impact any of the neighbors out here. And again, this foundation would be, very open. It would have the ability to pass floodwaters through it readily. So with that, I think that essentially summarizes the project. I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns the commission may have.
So when you say open, you're gonna have it on piers, or you're gonna have?
It's a
flow through?
full foundation with holes, openings.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Any questions?
Yes, so that what he asked, actually, the chair actually asked the question I was going to ask. So it's going to have a 4-square foundation, support wall in the middle?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
It's going to have a 4-square foundation, 4 sides,
Yes,
support wall in the middle,
yes.
and crushed gravel or something in between?
Most likely, that would be
Well,
my.
you wouldn't have an option, actually, I don't think.
Yeah, that would be my expectation, but
That's one of the things we discussed when we were at the site. As a matter of fact, I thought you mentioned pilings at the site.
I don't believe I did. Yeah, I could have, but it's definitely a 4-square, foundation proposal with openings.
Another option might be just 3 walls and open at the 2 ends. With a, breakaway lattice or something to that extent. That kind of foundation has been done a lot of times in Rogan's Point.
Yeah,
That's up to you people, but, so what you're saying here is that we're gonna kind of give you a blank check on the foundation right now, and you'll come with a revised
that's the
plan
idea.
at some point?
That's the idea. If the commission has a preference, I know we're not shooting for a vote tonight, but we can pass it along to the client. I think either way, you can accomplish what needs to be accomplished out here. If the commission's seeing something they prefer in these types of areas, we're happy to pass that along to the client and see what makes the most sense. Maybe that's an easier way to do it.
You said it was nowhere near gonna be the water, even with waves. It has so many, it would have to be a catastrophe that would take out half of that area for it to ever flood anyway, right?
Well, the floodplain is about 7 feet, about 8 feet higher than the existing grade on the property. So the 100-year storm would be disastrous for the entire,
The whole neighborhood would be gone.
correct.
Yes, okay, all right. So if they do it one way or the other, that house is gonna be gone if it's, yeah, okay. I just wanted to confirm that, basically.
Any other? So we'll go to the audience here in a minute. I saw you're on the schedule for site plan review. Typically, they like to see architectural drawings. I also saw this lot's for sale. With all the words, it's pending approval from Conservation Commission, which I thought was kind of odd. So I don't know that there's a big hurry.
No, yeah, I don't, I'm not shooting for, and honestly, I wasn't aware of that. Maybe, because they're more of a company that likes to try to acquire lots and improve them. And I'm not pressuring you all tonight for anything, given what you've.
We can condition a flow-through foundation to meet FEMA code, and then at compliance time, the requirement would be an engineer provides the calculation, certifies it, and we would go out and verify it. And if it's incorrect, then
You're in trouble.
you gotta go fix it. That's easy enough to do. But like I mentioned, we probably would like to wait to do any type of a vote until after, site plan review, because I think they're gonna make you put a sidewalk and granite curb in, and I don't know where the stormwater goes, and so.
Right.
Just part of this land is land subject to coastal storm flowage. We understand there's no standards for that, but it also serves a function for stormwater, and this would impact that. So we can kind of get it into our jurisdiction that way, and I think you're in the low part of the street. It's just, you know, where's the water gonna go? And so we would probably need to have all the water that hits the roof going into some type of a,
Mr. Chair,
yeah,
could we just keep this notice of intent open
yeah, we are,
and not vote on it at all right now?
right. Well, I'll ask the question later on to continue it and get informally on the record for that. But I know there's at least one person in the audience that might want to speak about this. So let me go ahead and see if anyone else wants to speak. Did you want to speak about this project? If you want to come up, state your name and address. Pull the mic down and there you go.
So my name is Carola Aguilar, and I live at 22 Neponset Street. And I take that they wanted to build that single family next to me,
Yep.
which I am so against it because I want to say like 10 years ago, I tried to do something and I came here with you guys and you said absolutely no, I couldn't do anything. If I wanted to do something, I have to do a new foundation. And now even worse, it's that there is definitely a flood right there. And it's every single time that it rains. So it gets really, really bad. And if they're going to try to build a house next to my house, it's going to come all to me. I just had an issue about 3 months ago, which I wanted to do just my parking space. And you guys said, no, I couldn't put any pavement in there, that I needed to stop. I did. So I think that this is something that...
You came before this commission?
No, through the city. And
Through the city, okay.
And they came and they said, no, you cannot have a driveway. It needs to stay like that because this is a conservation land and we don't want any of that and it affects everybody. So if they're going to build a house next to my place, the place, it's really taken care of because I've done it for 33 years that I live there. I've been taking care of that. And the previous owner told me that they will never separate those two, because it belongs to the land before I bought the house. So I've been taking care of that for the last 33 years, and this is how it is very nice right now. But I don't want that to be built next to my house because it's just gonna take care, they're gonna be right next to me.
Yeah.
And what most concerns me is about the flood, because we have that issue every time it rains. And my neighbors, they were all going to come, but unfortunately they had issues today. And so it didn't come to me, but we were trying to sign something because we just don't want that to be built there. It's just not, it's just way too little.
Yeah. So just a little background, as far as this commission is concerned, we really can't stop someone from building something if they meet the standards in the code. They own the property, they have a right to build. I understand your concerns about the flooding. We have all of those same concerns also. They are planning on going to site plan review next week, I believe, and you can attend that meeting also and express your concerns there. A site plan review, because that's just kind of part of the process there. We're not going to decide anything tonight. We're waiting to get more information, and then we're probably going to continue this hearing till July 12th and take it up again there at that meeting.
Okay.
So, Have any other questions?
No,
Okay, all right, thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience? No? Yeah, he's just auditing us. He's friendly. Any other questions? So my recommendation is we table this, get their agreement to continue the hearing until next month. So they'll be meeting at site plan review. And then kind of go from there. Is everyone in agreement with that? You okay with continuing it?
Yes,
Okay. All right, good. All right, thank you.
thank you all.
All right. Next up, I'm going to go back to the extensions. So we have a request from DCR to extend their order of conditions, which is really their O&M plan for Revere Beach and Short Beach, for 3 years. They had redone the plan 3 years ago, it was approved. They're asking for a 3-year extension, and I sent the plan to everyone. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it, review it. I'm good for 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. Looks good.
How about you, Toby? You okay with them? Yeah. Brian, you okay with them extending it for 3 years? Nicholas? Joe? It's an O&M plan, so this is cleaning the beach, disposing of the sand, dead animals. No construction. This is just the O&M plan. It's revered, what? A dead body of a whale, not humans. So all in favor of extending this for 3 years?
Aye.
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 All right. And next up is another extension of an order of conditions for construction of a single-family home on 265 Rice Avenue, 061-0717. We extended this about a year ago. I gave him a year, and he just hasn't gotten it done. It's really been labor supplies from what I could tell. So my recommendation would be to consider extending this for 18 more months, and he feels pretty confident he can get it done by next June. So a motion to extend this for 18 months.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Second?
Aye.
Second. And then aye.
Get ahead of myself. I think that's everything on that. You guys saw the correspondence where you've been summoned to Superior Court?
We've been sued.
All right. We did get an intervention letter from DEP on 84 Arcadia. There was a site meeting regarding that. And their concern is it's a coastal dune. And as a result, because it's a coastal dune, they want the house elevated on stilts. It was gonna have a flow-through foundation, they want it on stilts. The argument is, and the reason we approved it as is we don't think that area functions as a coastal dune anymore. There's no transport of sand, it doesn't mound up, it doesn't move laterally. So they're working through that. Site visits, went out to Target and just looked at that and walked around there. They're all done. They're going to be coming to us for a certificate of compliance. 140 Linway, we had the pre-construction visit for the new firehouse. They had the groundbreaking the next day, and then I heard yesterday DCR issued them a cease and desist on their property. Yeah, because of ownership issues, but I think that was all squared away. It was kind of funny. We did go visit 265 Rice Avenue, and we did go visit Neponset Street. On enforcement, the 3 outstanding projects with regarding to paved driveways, the owners have all completed that. I just need to go out and get a picture and then send them a letter saying they're back in compliance. So that's closed out. I don't really have anything else. Don't leave tonight, we have some things to sign. And I'm gonna be gone the next 3 weeks, so I've been working with Lorena, so hopefully you're gonna monitor emails, and she may reach out to one of you folks if she needs help on something. So, I don't know, you met Lorena last time, but Lorena Escolar, she's gonna be doing conservation agent duties as an employee of the city. So it's not her full-time job. It's Friday. So that's the other thing, if you guys, I send out all these notices on training, please take advantage of it. The city deserves knowledgeable commissioners with regards to the Water Protection Act and the city ordinance and the riverfronts and things like that. Alicia, I think, does a wonderful job when she does the training. It's free. She's flexible on hours. You get a lot of information out of it. Every time I listen to it, I get more information out of it. Because it's a lot when she's downloading. And then the other thing that's going on is MAC is offering their training courses. So feel free to sign up. Commission will reimburse you. But really would kind of like to get as many of you getting a fundamental certificate. It just makes you a whole lot more knowledgeable when we're dealing with some of these issues. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Seconded.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. No one leave.